Guys, it's Sunday today. It's time to allow ourselves to relax a little bit, enjoy the drawings, beautiful poses today. Despite that though, I struggled. I felt very tense and stiff. I don't know why. I've been doing tons of drawing for Figuary, so I should be all loose and confident marks. But the weird thing about drawing is the day-to-day is, if you had a graph, I've made a graph of this before, like how you do day-to-day drawing, it's just so up and down. It's not like a little bit better than the day before and then a little bit better and a little bit better. It's like, ooh, ah. So you've always got to kind of assess yourself over the longer term. Like, how was I last year compared to now? And usually that makes you feel pretty good when you look back to a year ago, if you've been practicing. If you haven't been practicing and then you look a year ago, not much probably has changed. But if you have been, look back to a year ago and you'll feel good. Look back to 3 years ago. If I look back to 3 years ago, I feel pretty great. So it's kind of worth doing from time to time. But weirdly, even though I know I've progressed tons, I kind of have this little sense of dissatisfaction always. Like, I want more though. I want to be better. And I've heard this said before a few times, and I think it might be true, which is that your eye develops more quickly than your arm. So in other words, even though you're getting better at drawing, you can see your mistakes more and more clearly. So your standards are always a little bit higher than where you are. Because like 3 years ago, my standards are lower than where I am now. And if I looked at, if the 3 years ago version of myself came and saw my drawings now, he'd be like, yes, that's great. But now my standards have gone up and they're always going up a little bit as I improve. And so there's always this gap between what I see, how well I see what I'm doing and what I'm doing. And that little sense of dissatisfaction, I don't mind it because it keeps pulling me along and making me practice and improve. But there is a risk, which is that you're always miserable. You're always like, well, I'm not good enough. So I think you can have that little sense of dissatisfaction, call it a hunger for a little bit more to be better, while feeling good, while feeling happy in the longer term, in the bigger picture. Deep down, I feel satisfied, I feel good, but I'm still hungry for that little bit more. And when I get better, I know that in 3 years, I'll be way better than I am now. And if I were to look at the drawings I'll be doing in 3 years now, I'll be really happy. But in 3 years, I'm still going to be hungry for a little bit more. So I think that that's a nice way to be pushing yourself without being mean to yourself, hopefully.
Hi, my name's Kenzo, and this is Love Life Drawing.
So I wanted to have a quick look at 2 of the poses today. Now I had a few goes at these because, like I said, I was a bit tense today. So the thing that kind of got me to loosen up finally was to remember those asymmetrical curves throughout the figure. Like on the arm, there's these curves that are offset against each other. You could think of them as flowing into each other. And down the torso, even with the shadow shape on the breast and the left-hand side of the torso, you can see these curves that are offset against each other. And seeing those and feeling those is what finally got me to break out of this kind of stiff, oh, this has to be good kind of drawing, and just let my arm do its thing. So I had so much fun with it that after the minute, which was this point here, I kept going with it and felt really good about this one. This drawing, this pose, this second pose, is the big thing that came out to me was, even though I don't have much time, there's one big shadow shape on one side. And so capturing the edge of that, I felt like was essential, even if I only had a minute. So that's something I definitely wanted to do. And also, one thing I wanted to remind you guys of is when you look at the shins from the front, they have this outward curve to them, and that's something that's really nice to capture. So one thing I wanted to talk about with both of these poses is the face. Like if you don't have much time, all I've said so far is don't draw the face. There's just no time, just leave it out. But the truth is that usually there is enough time to put in the line of the brow. And the brow tells you so much. It tells you which way is the head pointing. It tells you where does the sort of face start and where does the forehead and cranium start. If you want to do a little bit more of the face, if you maybe have a bit more time, one thing that I would say is don't think about the features themselves. You know, we really care about, you know, like the eyes. You see so many drawing tutorials like how to draw eyes, which is fine, but it's always like how to draw the pupils and stuff, the little details. The pupils and all of that, those are intricate details of the eye. Before you think about that, you want to establish the eye socket. The eye is a ball set into a socket, and the socket is like set into the face, and it creates, you know, a shadow shape usually on the face. You can establish that, and that, if you have short time, is more of a priority often than worrying about the eye itself. Similarly for the nose, instead of worrying about all of this part of the nose, often what you need is just like the triangle of the shadow shape under the nose, or just the line on the bottom of the nose. The viewer can fill in the rest. And instead of worrying about how to draw the mouth, worry about the shadow shape under the mouth. There's often a shape that goes around the chin, for example, under the lower lip. And then maybe draw the shadow shape under the upper lip. But even that's getting towards drawing the features too much. So generally speaking, I would say that line of the brow is good enough. Maybe the line of the brow and the line across the bottom of the nose. Or some of the eye socket and then the line across the bottom of the nose. But let's not get dragged too much in a quick pose into worrying about, you know, all the, you know, the eyes and all the details of the features. In my opinion, do whatever you want. Life drawing and art is, there's no rules, there's just tools. So do use the tools as you see fit. Have a great session, guys. I will see you back here tomorrow. Share your drawings at community.lovelifedrawing.com, on Instagram. Your practice session is at vimeo.com/Croquis Cafe. Most of all, enjoy the session, have fun, and don't worry if it goes terribly. Don't worry if it's, you know, the drawings go up and down. If it's a down day, tomorrow might be an up day. So have fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.